your pardon, is in the 8S from Central Point, and Bryson Smith from Portland is in the 040. He won. Goes green. Dwarf cars began their speed week here at Coos Bay. Oh, and around goes Walker. Loops it around. Is he gonna stay there or try to get going? And they're gonna keep it green, and Walker gets it back going. Gives Dan Morris out front ahead of Ellie Russo and Bryson Smith. Trevor Davis running fourth. Get passing points on the line. Trying to advance as many positions as possible. Almost 3 wide coming out of turn 4. For the lead, Morris holds on. Trevor Davis got into the wall, exiting turn 4, but he keeps on going, but he's way back in the 4th position. Now Russo gets inside of Morris, and she's got to take the lead. The Bay Point, California driver racing here for the first time is out front. As the laps are all winding down, 5 down, 4 to go. Or 3 to go, I beg your pardon. Oh, Russo gets a little up high and out of shape. Morris tries to close back in, almost runs into her, but manages to check up, but that's going to allow Bryson Smith to get by to move into second with 2 laps to go. And Morris gets a run, gets back by Smith for second. Russo, meanwhile, not getting away from these two. White flag one more time around. Smith gets back around Morris. 3-car battle on this last lap on this quarter-mile dirt oval. Out of 3, out of 4. Ellie Russo wins it. Bryson Smith from 5th to 2nd. Dan Morris 3rd. Trevor Davis 4th, and Adam Walker went ahead and pulled off the track. He is 5th. So Ellie Russo representing the Delta Dwarf cars. She is out of Bay Point, California, racing here for the first time. The young lady picks up the win in heat race number 1. One of, by our count, 8 drivers in this field racing at this track for the first time tonight as heat race number 2 rolls on to the Speedway. Jim Ritchie is in the 22S. Gary Wegener is in the 65O. Aaron Morgenstern is in the 98O. The 51S is Devin Lahore. Danny Wagner from Belico, California, if I'm pronouncing that right, is in the 11 Double D. And Anthony Pope, who's won his share of races in the Dwarf car for the last few years around the Northwest, he's going to start 6th in this one. Heat race number 2, 6 cars for 8 laps. Here we go. Look at that gaggle of cars for second. Gary Wegener leads the way to turn 1. 3 wide for 4th. Lots of passing. Almost 3 wide for 3rd now. Throw a blanket over 2nd through 5th. Look at Danny Wagner. Getting inside Morgenstern. Wegener leads lap number 1, but he gets swirly over at 1 and 2. He's going to lose the lead and fall back to 5th. Anthony Pope, who started 6th, is up to the lead. But Wagner gets her on the inside. Drag race down the front stretch, pump out front by a nose. Wagner not going anywhere, getting a bite off the bomb, challenging still for the lead. Into turn 3 they go. Wagner gets a little crossed up. Pope reestablishes himself out front. Lahore running at 3rd. Over Morgenstern. Gary Wegener into the infield in the 65 car. Picks up some dirt, keeps it going. We stay green, battle for the lead. Danny Wagner Again, side by side with Pope at the line. Wagner is your new leader. Pope crosses it back over in turn 2. What a run. Tries to take the lead back. This time he's on the bomb. Wagner up top, and Anthony Pope takes the lead back. What a heat race we got going here. Heat race number 2. 3 laps to go. Pope, Wagner, Lahore, Morgenstern, your top 4. Gary Wagner is just ahead of him. He is in 6th place. 2 laps to go. And this time out of turn 4, Anthony Pope will see the white flag. One more time around. Hugh Garland's ahead of Danny Wagner. Wagner trying to make a run. Gary Wagner right in front of Pope, but Pope will hold off Danny Wagner to win heat race number 2. Devin Lahore takes 3rd over Aaron Morgenstern. Jim Ritchie got a battle for 5th still here. Jim Ritchie, no, Wagner gets him at the line for 5th. Jim Ritchie is 6th. But Rays fans, how about that for a heat race? Heat race number 2 being won by Anthony Pope, who came from the back. I believe that's going to be a 120, if I'm not mistaken. 125 for a point score to go along with 15 bonus points for being the fast qualifier in that group here. He'll be in the redraw tonight. Anthony Pope looking awfully strong. Along with Danny Wagner here. Don't count out Danny Wagner just yet in the 11 Double D. Again, the Double D being the Western States Club designation for the Delta Dwarf cars who race down in California. And it looks like we'll have another safety lap here for a sprint car. Austin Sauce having issues in his group qualifying session. Austin from right here in Coos Bay, and they'll give him a lap or 2. And that did not sound good. And Ernie Owen looks like he's already on his way to pick up Austin Sauce, who's about to roll to a stopover in turn 3. That did not sound good. A lot of coughing, and then it just abruptly shut off. Still, they'll get Austin Sauce off the racetrack, and they'll bring out heat race number 3 for the Dwarf cars. He fired off, and it looks like it just shut off abruptly again. All right, heat race number 3 for the Dwarf cars, rolling onto the Speedway. Fred Hay has been racing for more than 50 years. He's in the 10S from Eagle Point, Oregon, but inside of him will be Chance Russell in the 812 Double D from Rio Vista, California. Jason Robustelli is in the 20S. From Medford, Corey Esteban, one of the all-time great dwarf car racers out there from Gaston, Oregon, is in the 36 car. Jimmy Brentster from St. Helens, Oregon, is in the 2.0. He won here a few years ago. And Colby Bergquist is in the 55S from Crescent City, California. Lights are already out. Another 6 cars set to go for 8 laps. This is heat race number 3. And we go green. And still racing for the lead, Russell and Hay. And Russell, in that 812, will lead it over the old man. Fred Hay runs second. Brinster from fifth to third. Corey Esteban still running fourth. Colby Bergquist, your quick qualifier in this group here, just now moved into fifth. And around goes Brinster. Look out! Bergquist unable to avoid, and the yellow flag comes out. Didn't see if there was any contact or anything like that. Was looking at Bergquist and looked forward, saw Brinster spinning around. Corey Esteban managed to evade, Bergquist did not. And we go yellow for the first time this evening. Both cars get back going. And Bergquist, some fumes on that 55S. And more fumes there. There is an issue with that 55 car. He was your fast qualifier in this group. And now for the first time this week, the Dwarf car is doing something they're not used to doing, a single file restart with the cone. And Bergquist, quick qualifier in this group, goes to the pit area. We'll see if those passing points, or rather his group qualifying points, are potentially enough to get him into the main event. The top 16 in points are locked in. Everyone else will have to go to the B main. You can see his helpers doing something to the right side of that car. So they'll have to wait, however, as lights are out. No guaranteed waiting time in heat race action. Chance Russell out front, no passing before the cone. Do not go below the cone. Do not hit the cone. Stay single file. And everyone does that. Good job, guys. Russell holding off Fred Hay for the lead. Corey Esteban runs third over Robustelli and Brinster. As we complete lap number 3, Corey Esteban making a move to the inside of Fred Hay, trying to take over the second spot. He's got it going down the back straightaway. Now sets his sights on Chance Russell. Chance Russell racing here for the first time. He is your leader, but for how long? Corey Esteban is hunting him. Jason Robustelli spins out over in turns 1 and 2. Keeps it going. We stay green. We have a battle for the lead. Russell still has the lead by a nose, but he has it no longer. Corey Esteban takes the lead on turn 2, down the back straightaway in around 3, around 4, 2 laps to go for Corey Esteban. Jimmy Brinster has raced his way back to third after spinning out earlier. Fred Hay runs fourth. White flag one more time around for Corey Esteban. Esteban, I believe, started fourth in this, picking up some passing points. Should he hold on? Out of 3, out of 4, Corey Esteban wins it, and holding on to second by a nose is Chance Russell. Jimmy Brinster third, Fred Hay fourth, and Jason Robustelli will bring it home in fifth. Don't count out this guy ever. Corey Esteban, with Lord knows how many wins in his career, several championships. He wins heat race number 3. Fourth and final heat race, rolling onto the Speedway. Tanner Kerr is in the 43 car from Albany, Oregon. Scott Dahlgren from Belico, California is in the 21 Double D. Josh Rogers is in the 8-0, the 01 is Chris Kress from Roseburg, Rogers being from St. Helens, Oregon, and the 5S is Mike Gergel from Grants Pass. Do not have the 46 car, Bennett Gooch. He had a problem in group qualifying, so we go with 5 cars. Chris Kress was quick qualifier, but with the car dropping out, he gets to move up and start 4th in this one. We'll see if he can take advantage. Tanner Kerr takes the lead. Down the backstretch. Whoa, a little bit of contact by Dahlgren. Dahlgren gets crossed up after hitting Kerr in the back bumper. Everyone scrambles, but we stay green. Kerr leads lap number 1, but Rogers is going after him for the lead. And he nose ahead. Down the back straightaway, takes it outright in turn 3. Kerr crosses back over, retakes it, exiting 4th. Tanner Kerr still out front. Josh Rogers again takes it back in turns 1 and 2. Josh Rogers looking strong. And Josh Rogers is your leader, 3 down, 5 to go. Kerr running second over Chris Kress and Scott Dahlgren. Chris Kress trying to make the upper group board, trying to widen this track out for the Dwarf cars. Dahlgren searching around up there too, see if they can find any kind of fight. Right now, Rogers is really enjoying the bottom of the racetrack, and he has over a half straightaway over Tanner Kerr. 2 to go this time by for Josh Rogers. His lead that time, more than 2 seconds. Slower car of Mike Gergel in front of him. He clears him at the white flag. Rogers can almost take it easy from here. Leading by about a straightaway. Through 3, out of 4. Heat 4 goes to Josh Rogers. Tanner Kerr will take second over Chris Kress. And Scott Dahlgren, Mike Gergel will be scored 5th. So Josh Rogers representing the Northwest Dwarf cars out of the Portland area. Josh lives in St. Helens, about 30 minutes down the road from Portland on the way to Astoria. He wins heat race number 4. That'll do it for the Dwarf cars. Northwest Dwarf cars and Southern Oregon Dwarf Car Association, the 2 big Oregon groups putting this Speed Week together on the Dwarf car side of things, with support on the financial side from the AMCA Bandit Dwarfs, who race a mixture of dirt and asphalt up in Washington. Don't have the sponsor list handy here. I should grab that here so I can throw out some sponsors on the Dwarf car side of things for the Speed Week. They got Point Fund for the races here in Oregon. And each night, small purse and some bonus monies going out each night as well. We'll look that up when we get a chance here, and we'll tell you who they are. First of 3 heat races rolling out for the Interstate Sprint Car Series, their opening night of Speed Week here at Coos Bay Speedway. On the pole in the 75 car from Roseburg, Oregon, that will be Brian Boswell. And outside of him in the 26F from Junction City, Oregon, that will be Shane Forte. Row number 2, we'll have the Washington visitor, Corey Swansina, starting inside in car number 2. And out of Grants Pass in the 5P, that's RJ McGahee. Row number 3, the 8J, starting 5th, that's Justin McConville. And your quick qualifier in this group In the 95, racing here for the first time from Burlington, Washington, the Skagit Speedway points leader. That is Justin Youngquist. And Carly Holmes is shown 7th. But I believe what's here on the app may not be correct. I see Carly instead lining up 3rd. And we are missing McConville. Not able to join us for this one here. So it looks like a change in the lineup here. Carly Holmes is actually starting 3rd. Inside of Corey Swatsina. That is your 2nd row, and McGahee and Youngquist. There are your 3rd row. All right, lights are out. First of 3 heat races for the ISCS Limited Sprint Cars. Their Speed Week goes green. Taking out for the lead. Out of 3 and out of 4, Shane Forte has the lead over Boswell, Swansina, Holmes, and Youngquist. Youngquist battling with Holmes for 4th, picks the position for the moment. Holmes fighting back. Youngquist had it by the nose of the line, but Holmes takes the position back. Up to 3rd. Shane Forte continues to lead. Meanwhile, battle for 4th now. 2 Washington drivers going at Youngquist. Inside of Swansina. Swansina trying to keep that position, using the outside, cuts it back down. Going to turn 1, but slides up the racetrack. Gets out of shape. Youngquist and McGahee both move by. Youngquist up to 4th now. Meanwhile, Shane Forte still leading in that 26 car. With a couple of laps to go. Forte, Boswell, Holmes, Youngquist, McGahee, and Swansina. That is your running order. Less than 1 lap to go. Shane Forte, a half straightaway lead. Just taking it easy. He's going to win heat race number 1 over Boswell. Holmes, Youngquist holds off McGahee for 4th. And Swansina. So your winner of heat race number 1 from Junction City, Oregon, that 26F. Let him hear ya, Shane Forte. Boswell 2nd, Holmes 3rd. Youngquist picks up a couple of positions to go along with his 15 bonus points from group qualifying. We'll see how the points stack up. And we'll see if he makes the redraw. But Shane Forte wins heat race number 1. Heat race number 2, staging on the racetrack. And of course, there's almost always at least one person in the grandstands seeing the sprint cars racing for the first time. No starters in these things. They require a push. These steel block motors burning methanol. That big top wing, 25 square feet of extra downforce. Pushes down on these cars, makes them grip the track, and they go faster. And the nose wing up front keeps the front end of these things on the ground. Tyler Thompson, he's in the 7 car out of Harrisburg. Allie Johnson in the 4 car, first time visitor here from Blaine, Washington. Justin Lemon from Cottage Grove is in the 1L. Eric Turner in the 29 car getting pushed off from Lake Stevens, Washington. Brett McGuy in the 66 car. From Arlington, Washington, 6R, Morgan Burks from Roseburg. And your series points leader, Camden Robustelli from Medford. He is in the 9T. That 9T has been a fixture of sprint car racing here in Oregon for many years, the Winningham family. So it looks like it'll be Allie Johnson and Justin Lemon on the front row, the 4 and the 1L. Row 2, pair of Washington drivers, Brett McGuy in the 66, Eric Turner in the 29. Row 3, your quick qualifiers in this group, the 7 of Tyler Thompson and the 9T of Camden Robustelli. And the 6R of Morgan Burks brings up the rear. Lights are out. They've been given the 1 to go, and we will turn them loose here in just a moment. Johnson, Lemon leading the way. Heat 2 for ISCS goes green. And both cars up front getting crossed out. Robustelli has a problem. Gets out of shape. Keeps it going here, but he stays at the back of the field. Allie Johnson leading. Getting crossed up again. Second and third get together. Lemon spins it out. Keeps it going. We stay green. We got action happening all over the racetrack. First couple laps of this one. Johnson still leads over Brett McGuy. Tyler Thompson settles in to third over Eric Turner. Burks and Robustelli passes Burks for fifth after his mishap to start the heat race. All that happening in just the first 3 laps. Allie Johnson, first time visitor here, fighting to hold on. As we hit halfway, 4 down, 4 to go. A pair of Washington drivers leading the way. In fact, they have 3 out of the first 4 spots. The exception being third place, Tyler Thompson. 3 to go for Allie Johnson, looking for a heat race win in her first trip to Coos Bay. Tyler Thompson trying to challenge McGuy for second. Robustelli trying to challenge Eric Turner for fourth. With less than 2 laps to go, they're going to get the white flag this time by. Out of 3, out of 4, the youngster picks up a heat race win. Allison Johnson wins it over Brett McGuy, Tyler Thompson, Eric Turner, Camden Robustelli, Morgan Burks, and Justin Lemon. But the young lady here for the first time from Blaine, Washington, Allie Johnson picks up the win in the 4-car in heat race number 2. So how about that? I believe it was her older sister, Ashley, almost picked up a win here a few years back. And now Allie comes here to Coos Bay and picks up a heat race win. So Heat 2 gets off the track. Cars for the 3rd and final heat race of the evening for the Interstate Sprint Car Series. Starting to push off, there's Steven Snotter pushing off in the 12 car from Roseburg. Johnny Burke from Eagle Point, Oregon pushes off in the 21 car. Cody Inderlini from Mount Vernon, Washington, just a stone's throw from Skagit Speedway. Pushing off in the 15th, Aaron Smith in the 10 car is underway. He's from Central Point, Oregon. And we are awaiting a couple more cars. And again, here we found out at a rather late moment that I was going to be announcing the sprint cars as well. I did not have time to get all their sponsor information as I normally do for sprint car events. When they push off, you have all the time in the world to read off sponsors, their frame manufacturer, their engine builder, the works, but did not have time here, so our apologies for that. But almost all these cars have at least one sponsor, if not several, displayed on their cars. You get a chance, head down to the pit area after tonight's races, see these cars up close and personal. Same thing with the Dwarf cars. In fact, all these cars have someone helping them out. Find out who's helping them. Support those who support racing and support these racers and help them get to the racetrack to put on a show for all of us here. So we're missing a couple of cars. So we're going to go with 4. 4 cars for 8 laps. Third and final heat race of the evening for the Interstate Sprint Car Series. Steven Snotter, Theron Smith will lead the way. Burks and Anderlini behind them. We go green. Steven Snotter takes the lead. Burks to second by Theron Smith. And Anderlini gets by him to take third. Snotter leads lap number 1 over Burks and Anderlini. And already more than a half straightaway lead for Steven Snotter over Cody Anderlini, or rather Johnny Burks. Johnny Burke is running second over Anderlini. They're just a few car lengths apart, but not anywhere near your leader, Steven Snotter. Theron Smith continues to run 4th. And Johnny Burke slowly pulling away from Cody Anderlini for 2nd. Just a couple laps to go for the field this time by. Snotter is pulling away. He's leading by a straightaway now. He's going to get the white flag one more time around. He can almost coast it from here. Out of turn 4, Steven Snotter wins heat race number 3 over Johnny Burke, Cody Anderlini, and Theron Smith brings it home 4th. But Steven Snotter, there he is, race fans, the 12th car out of Roseburg, Oregon. Your winner of the final heat race of the evening for the sprint cars. They're going to tally the passing points at the group qualifying bonus points. We'll figure out who's going to start where for tonight's main event. Beasy cars, 4 of them will go to the main event. And already the lights are out. So if you're Robustelli or Walker, just have a good start. Perhaps just keep it out of trouble because the cars behind them will be fighting for transfer spots. 12 lap B main for the Dwarf cars. It is underway. And it looks like a little bit of contact between Walker and Robustelli right as they got to the flag stand here, but no harm, no foul. Walker has the lead. Dahlgren with a great start, taking over 2nd. Walker leads lap 1 over Dahlgren, I beg your pardon. Robustelli and Wegner, that's your top 4. As we complete lap number 2, 10 to go, and already your front 4 have separated themselves from the back 2. So for these four guys, it may just be a matter of who starts where in the main event and just not crash into each other. Walker still leads over Dahlgren, who's staying right there with him. And Dahlgren with a move to the inside and has to back off here. But then Walker gets a little bit crossed up. Dahlgren, well, can't quite get inside of him again still. Battle for third between Robustelli and Wegener. Wegener gets into the loose stuff here and falls back a little bit. These guys, they just got to stay out of trouble here for 6 more laps, and they're in the feature. It's just a matter of who gets to start 17th and how they line up those last 3 spots behind. 5 to go this time by. Walker still holding on over Dahlgren. And fumes. Someone may have just blown up in the 5S there, Micah Gurgle. And he gets the mechanical black flag. He goes to the pit area. His night is over, and we're down to 5. Nine down, 3 to go. And make that 2 laps to go as they put Jim Ritchie a lap down. And that'll all but seal it. Your front forward, they just need to stay out of trouble, and they are on to the main event. Lester Hankins shows them the white flag one more time around. Out of 3, out of 4. Adam Walker wins it over Scott Dahlgren, Jason Robustelli, and Gary Wegener. Those are your 4 cars tagging the back of the field for tonight's Dwarf Car main event. Jim Ritchie finishes 5th. His night is over. But there he is. Let him hear you. Adam Walker from Mount Angel, your winner of the B main event. And just like that, main events coming up next. I see Hornets in staging. Looks like they are next here. They just need to get a few more cars and we'll get going. BZ will take over the mic. Shout out to Lisa Dines. Longtime photographer, now I want to say operations manager. I'm not quite sure what to say what she does up there at Skagit Speedway, but she helps make that place go. She is watching tonight, co-owner of Justin Youngquist's number 95 sprint car. We welcome Lisa watching at home up in Washington on Dirt Oval TV. PG Risso right here outside our booth, bringing the images to everyone at home. We are here at Coos Bay Speedway here on the Oregon Coast for night 1 of Speed Week for the Dwarf cars and the ISCS sprint cars. Hornets are heading onto the racetrack for their main event. BZ, take it over.
All right.
For the Dwarf cars of Speed Week 2021. Again, the top 8 got to draw for their starting positions here. If I'm looking at this right here, this is how they are lining up for 25 laps. Your front row will be the 88 of Anthony Pope and the 040 of Bryson Smith. Row number 2 will be the 80 of Josh Rogers and the 31 Double D of Ellie Russo. Row number 3 will be the 01 of Chris Kress and the 36 of Corey Esteban. Danny Wagner in the 11 Double D and James Britster in the 20 make up row number 4. Row number 5 will be the 51S of Dennis Lahore and the 13 of Dan Morris. Row number 6 will be the 43 of Tanner Kerr and the 812 Double D of Chance Russell. Trevor Davis in the 8S will be inside of row 7 with the 98 of Aaron Morgenstern outside of him. Colby Bergquist in the 55S is inside of row 8 with the 10S of Fred Hay outside of him. And then it is your B-mean transfers. Adam Walker in the 21X, he won the B-mean. He'll start 17th. Scott Dahlgren in the 21 Double D will line up 18th. And your back row will be the 20S of Jason Robustelli and the 65-0 of Gary Wagoner. And that is your lineup for the Dwarf Car main event. Looks like they're doing a little bit of work to the track. Once again, this is the first of 6 nights of racing for the Interstate Sprint Car Series and the Dwarf Cars. 4 nights here in Oregon, then 2 up in Washington. We are at Cottage Grove Speedway tomorrow evening. Wednesday, we'll be at Willamette Speedway in Lebanon. Thursday, we go to Sunset Speedway in Banks, about 25 minutes or so west of Portland, and then the sprint cars continue on up with more Dwarf cars to Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, Washington on Friday and Saturday. We welcome those of you watching online, at home on Dirt Oval TV. We thank you for joining us. My name is Andrew Kunis, filling in for Ben Deathridge for the sprint cars. We'll have him back with us, we believe, tomorrow and Wednesday at Cottage Grove and Lebanon. I'll be with the Dwarf cars through Thursday before duties with the Northwest Focus Midget Series require my presence at Deming Speedway on Friday and the Wenatchee Valley Super Bowl on Saturday. But ISCS Sprint Cars, they continue with more Dwarf cars all week, and it's all on Dirt Oval TV. And I hear some Dwarf cars firing up. These 1,000-pound cars without the driver, running on motorcycle engines. Lots of Suzuki Gixxers, a few Yamahas, some Kawasaki's. The occasional Honda, I believe, can be found out there. Take the engine, turn it on its side, take the chain drive out, install a drive shaft that runs down the the right side of the car, and it goes into the rear end housing, taken out of small pickup trucks. Chop the right side off of those, installing these things, and make these things a rear wheel drive, running on everything from premium gasoline up to full-fledged racing fuel. Again, the Northwest Dwarf Car Association, based out of the Portland area, and the Southern Oregon Dwarf Car Association, based out of Medford, putting on this speed week on the Dwarf car side of things. The AMCA Bandits running mixture of dirt and asphalt up in Washington and elsewhere, stepping up with some sponsorship for this event, or for the whole week rather. Got point fund that's been put together, some bonus money on the line each night. 24 cars joined us tonight for night number 1 at Coos Bay. And 20 are starting this main event. Some of the coolest little race cars you'll see. Special shout out to Steve Capone from Arizona. Ran the National at Cottage Grove this weekend, but unfortunately had to go home to Arizona. He just messaged me. He is kicking himself for not staying up here for the week. He is watching on Dirt Oval TV. Steve, thanks for watching. Wish you were here with us. Just going over the lineup here, making sure everyone is where they are supposed to be. All right, lights are out. They've been given the one to go. We will turn them loose next time by. $20 Dwarf cars set to go for 25 laps around Coos Bay Speedway. Pope and Smith front row, batten down the hatches, and hold on, folks. Here we go. Anthony Pope shoots up the lane down the back straightaway. Over Bryson Smith and Josh Rogers. Pope will lead lap number 1. And we are underway. We got a problem with the car on the front stretch. Corey Esteban. Suspension issues, it looks like. Something in the steering. And he comes to a stop on the front stretch with 1 lap complete. And they are signaling for the hook. And it looks like we have one wheel facing a direction and another wheel facing a different direction. That's not going to work. So we are officially underway. We'll have a single file restart. And again, the Dwarf cars, they're not used to doing this. They usually double file behind the leader. But like the sprint cars are, they will all week observe single file restarts. And lap cars, not that there are any already with just 1 lap down, but lap cars get to keep their place in line with the leaders. And we will have the cone out front. They must stay single file when they go past the cone. Do not pass before the cone. Do not go below the cone. Do not hit the cone. Otherwise, you'll be penalized 2 positions at the next stoppage, whether it's a caution flag or the checkered flag. And if it's for passing before the cone, it's 2 positions per car. So they want you to behave. Leader sets the pace, and leader is supposed to keep a steady pace. Just getting the lineup finalized. Corey Esteban pulled off the racetrack, and they'll see if there's anything that could be a quick fix. Usually not a quick fix on these Dwarf cars. So Corey Esteban, not the start he was looking for his speed week. One of the old-time greats, having won, I don't want to guess how many main events he has won over the past 15 plus years racing the Dwarf cars. Also had a brief stint driving wingless sprint cars, picking up a championship with the Northwest Wingless Tour several years ago, and picking up a couple of wins along the way, but back in at Dwarf cars. So he's done for the night. Lights are back out. 1 down. We're underway. 24 to go. Anthony Pope, your leader again. Guy's not used to doing single file restarts. We'll see if they behave. Back underway. And it looks like everyone does their part. We're good to go. Anthony Pope leads. He'll lead lap number 2. Bryson Smith continues to run second over Josh Rogers. Chris Kress running up 4th over Danny Wagner. Ellie Russo running 6th. Josh Rogers, meanwhile, has gotten by Bryson Smith for 2nd. Chris Kress is going to go with him. Bryson Smith is suddenly getting shuffled back a couple of positions. Smith, this is just his 8th time out or so in a Dwarf car, as Wagner moves into 4th, and trouble. Fred Hay spins out over in turn 4 to bring out the yellow flag. Three laps completed, 22 to go. The 88 of Anthony Pope is your leader. He's been a very successful Dwarf car racer over the last several years around the Pacific Northwest and in the West Coast also. He has picked up a few wins already this year. Josh Rogers running 2nd. Pope kind of runs with everybody. Rogers runs with the Northwest Dwarf cars. Kress runs a little bit with everybody. Bryson Smith in the 04 runs with the Northwest Dwarf cars. And then we got a pair of visitors from the Delta Dwarf cars running up there in the top 10. Danny Wagner in the 11 Double D and Ellie Russo in the 31 Double D. Again, you see a lot of letters attached to the cars here. Many of these clubs around the West Coast are affiliated members of the Western States Dwarf Car Association. And of course, at all these big events here, including this one here, you'll have multiple numbers here. So they have letters to identify them with their clubs that they belong to. So if you see an O on the car, that's the letter being designated to the Northwest Dwarf cars who are based out of the Portland area, and the S goes to the Southern Oregon Dwarf Car Association based out of the Medford area. And again, the Double D is for the Delta Dwarf cars, one of the newer groups down in California. Northwest Dwarf Cars hosted a national, Western States National this weekend over at Cottage Grove. The NorCal Dwarfs will host a national next month down in Marysville, California. Lights are out again. Still a ways to go. 3 laps down, 22 to go. Anthony Pope leads the way again. Single file restart. And again, everyone behaves. Single file past the cone. We're good to go. Pope still leads. And we're going to complete lap number 4. Josh Rogers is running 2nd. Bryson Smith took advantage of that yellow flag that negated the 2 positions he lost, so he runs 3rd still. But Chris Kress gets him Out of turn 4, crashed by a nose at the line for the third spot. Smith fights back on the outside in turn 2, takes the spot back. Wagner is going after Chris for fourth. And Danny Wagner takes the position, going after Smith for third. Good racing, third, fourth, and fifth. And Smith, again, using the outside to hold on to the position. Oh, he spins out over in turn 4. Look out, look out. Cars scrambling to avoid him. And everybody does so. My goodness. Bryson Smith took tough break for the young kid out of Portland, running in the top 5. Rookie dwarf car racer. This is just his 8th time or so out in a dwarf car this season. He's already experienced taking a tumble before here, learning a lot of stuff, but looking strong. Racing with some veteran racers here before looping it around here in tough break. He'll have to go to the back of the field. That's going to move Danny Wagner, it looks like, up to 3rd. Chris Kress up to 4th. Devin Lahore is now up to 5th. Then it's Tanner Kerr in the 43, Ellie Russo in the 31 double D. Jimmy Brinster in the 2-0. Looks like he is lining up 8th. Then it's Chance Russell from California in the 812 double D. And Colby Bergquist. That looks like your top 10. Colby Bergquist in the 55S. So a pair of Oregon drivers leading a California visitor. And then a pair of Oregon drivers. That's your top 5. Again, 4 states represented. All 3 West Coast states plus Arizona here with us tonight in the dwarf cars. As they are shown the 1 to go. Lineup is good. Lights are out. Anthony Pope has a couple of wins to his credit. Doing this speed week. Wins up at Lebanon and Elma. Would love to add another one to his list here at Coos Bay. We're back underway. And Wagner makes a move inside of Josh Rogers. Into 3 out of 4, Danny Wagner up to 2nd. Danny Wagner on the move. And he now has his sights set on Anthony Pope. We complete lap number 8, still a ways to go, 17 laps remaining. Pope has about a 5-car length lead over Danny Wagner, who hops the berm in turn 3. Going to turn 1, he's lost a little bit of ground to Anthony Pope. Josh Rogers right there with Danny Wagner, looking to the inside, down the back straightaway here, has to back off as Wagner shuts the door. Chris Kress lurking behind them. Lahore trying to hold off Tanner Kerr for 5th meanwhile. 10 down, 15 to go. Getting close to the halfway point. Pope stretching his lead out to about 10 car lengths. And out of turn 4. Whoa, we got a problem! We got a car upside down over in turn number 1 and 2. Red flag will come out. 13 car of Dan Morris turned it around. Fred Hay in the 10S collecting. And that is the 10S of Fred Hay upside down after collecting Morris. I believe Morris spun out. Sounds like there may have been contact with another car, sending Morris around. Hay could not avoid, and he tips it over. I don't want to guess what his age is now, but he's been racing for a very long time, more than 50 years. Fred, a long time regular now with the Southern Oregon group. Fred Hay, believe it or not, 50 plus years ago, was a competitor in the NASCAR, at the time, Winston West Tour. Just shy of halfway, 12 down, 13 to go. And good news, word from the scene, Fred Hay is okay. One of the real nice guys you'll meet out there as well. And don't forget, after tonight's races, head on down to the pit area and see these cars up close and personal. And these Dwarf cars, they love having the fans, especially the kids, sit in these things. And just like with the sprint cars, most of these guys have at least one sponsor, if not several, on their cars. And I was just told what his age is, Fred Hay. He's no spring chicken, but he's still out there going fast. Fred Hay is 80 years old. But good news is he is okay. Hopefully we'll see him get his car back together for tomorrow's show. Up at Cottage Grove, just a couple of hours away from here. We hope to see you all tomorrow for round 2 of this Speed Week for the Dwarf Cars and the Interstate Sprint Car Series. So they'll get the 2 cars removed. They got the 10S turned back over and get it towed off the racetrack, and then we'll get this field back going. And just shy of halfway, 12 down, 13 laps to go. And they confirm both cars needing hooks, too much damage to continue, so both are done. Fred Hay obviously going upside down, and Dan Morris in the 13. And some of the sponsors helping put this Speed Week together on the Dwarf car side of things: DNR Chassis, Hard Rock Tops, Fikes Roofing and Construction, Norm Miller at DNR, Wes Davis at Hard Rock Tops, Jason Fike at Fike's Roofing and Construction, and Troy Kunis on behalf of the AMCA Bandit Dwarf Cars. Troy Kunis dropped $1,000 into the point fund for this week. Some of it going to the points for the week, and some of it going to bonuses, including Hard Charger for each of the races here in Oregon. There's a random $150 draw going to a random driver in the main event. A $50 one for a random driver in the B main, thanks to Hard Rock Tops. Hard Charger, $100. There's also a second and the third Hard Charger. $100 for the first Hard Charger, whoever advances the most positions, and $75 and $50 for second and third. And a $25 bonus for the high heat race point score each night. Coming from all these sponsors, $500 to the points champion over these races in Oregon. $300 for second, $225 for third, $175 for fourth, and $150 for fifth. So thanks to everyone who pitched in. Hard Rock Tops, DNR Chassis, Fikes Roofing and Construction, and a big shout out to the AMCA Bandit Dwarf Cars, showing their support on the finance side of things. They race mostly asphalt up in Washington, with the occasional race in Oregon and Idaho. Well, field is back rolling. Lineup is good. Lights are out. Just shy of halfway, Anthony Pope leading, but Danny Wagner is now second. We're back underway. And Berquist has a problem in the 55S, pulls to the infield. He's safely out of the way, it looks like, so we stay green. Pope with a great restart. 5 car lengths over Danny Wagner as we are officially halfway through. 13 down, 12 to go. Rogers continues to run third, Kress fourth, and Lahore fifth, but not much longer there. Lahore gets by Chris Kress for fourth. Jimmy Brinster now running at sixth over Tanner Kerr and Adam Walker. Car spun out over in turn 2. Trying to see who that is. Spun out over in turn 2 here with just a few laps to go. And I want to say that is Scott Dahlgren in the 21 Double D from Belico, California. Laps were winding down. And it looked like Anthony was potentially into a lap car around the last lap or so. But he had so much distance between himself and Danny Wagner here. Now the track is cleared in front of him. So they'll try and get Scott Dahlgren back underway. We had to look around at his two teammates in identical looking cars. The 11D Double D of Wagner, the 21 Double D of Dahlgren, and the 31 Double D of Russo. Again, all of them representing the Delta Dwarf cars this weekend, or this week up here in the Northwest. And it looks like Dahlgren couldn't get back going, so they might need to give him a push or something. Colby Berquist getting a push from the infield back to the pit area. The young man from down south in Crescent City, California, pulled into the infield earlier. And it looks like a starter issue on Dahlgren's car. Needed a push to get going. So we have gone back to 22 laps completed. Lights are out. Anthony Pope looking to hold on. He has been flawless on his restarts, having led the entire way. Does Danny Wagner have anything for him? We're about to find out. 3 laps to go. Pope continues to lead. Wagner staying right there with him. Gonna be 2 laps to go this time by. Everyone going to the bottom of the racetrack with a couple of exceptions. Further back in the field, Pope hugging the very bottom. He's got to get the white flag one more time around. Oh, Rogers! Spins around, gets in the infield, and tips it over. And the red flag will come out. We were this close to finishing this one here, but the red flag comes out. That was Josh Rogers, who was in third. Looks like he got into the back of Danny Wagner, trying to race him for second. Upset the car enough, got into the infield, upset the car further, and he just tipped it over. Driver is okay, good news. And of course, just like with the sprint cars, these dwarf cars here, or any race car here, whenever you get a tip over, you gotta be concerned about the fuel cap on their tanks. Make sure they don't have fuel coming out, and that's why they will throw the red even for just a light tip over. And like I said, it was pretty light. Josh Rogers, they tipped him over, and he drove off. Heather Boyce, the boss at Cottage Grove Speedway, giving a hand here in the tower tonight, doing the scoring and talking to the racers on the one-way receiver radios, just giving them the running order for the restart. And this will be a green-white checkered. We've completed 23. We did have 24, but we go green-white checkered. Anthony Pope here is thinking, man, I'm ready for this one to be over, but he's got to do at least one more restart. And that last restart didn't exactly get that far away from Danny Wagner here. And radio down to the flag stand. Lester Hankins flagging the Dwarf cars and the sprint cars this evening. He's been told lineup is good, so he's telling the drivers a 1 to go. Everyone's behaved so far tonight with the single file restart. Can Anthony Pope hold on? Green, white, checkered. Does Wagner have anything? We're back underway. Pope again holds on to the top spot. Again, hugging the very bottom of the racetrack. Wagner staying right there with them at the white flag one more time around. Will Wagner try something? Pope pulls away a little bit exiting turn 2. Through 3. Out of 4. Anthony Pope wins here at Coos Bay. Danny Wagner will take second over Chris Kress. Devin Lahore. Jimmy Brenster is 5th over Tanner Kerr, Adam Walker, Ellie Russo, Bryson Smith, Gary Wagner. That's your unofficial top 10 and the rest of the field. Race fans, let them hear ya. Another win in a Dwarf car for Roseburg, Oregon's Anthony Pope. Got Speed Week wins in the past up in Lebanon and Elma. Now he adds Coos Bay to his list of Speed Week venues where he has won. Top 3 will go to Tech. It'll be held tonight at the Robustelli pit here. Again, the 2 different clubs teaming up to run this thing this week, and the Southern Oregon group, for the most part, heading up tonight's show. This is one of their tracks. Both clubs running together at Cottage Grove frequently. And then we go north to a pair of Northwest Dwarf car tracks in Lebanon and Banks. Well, Dwarf cars are done. Now the time has come for the 25-lap main event for the Interstate Sprint Car Series. Gonna pull up the lineup here and give it to you. And this is how they will line up. Again, the top 8 after heat races, passing points and group qualifying points. They got to redraw for their starting positions, and this is what I am looking at here. Your front row, drawing the pole in the 12 car from Roseburg, Oregon. It'll be Steven Snotter leading the way with the 26F of Junction Cities, Shane Forte lining up outside of him. Row number 2 will be the 21 of Johnny Burke from Eagle Point, Oregon, lining up in 3rd. And Brett McGuy, who changed a motor before we even started here this evening, out of Arlington, Washington, the 66 car starting 4th. Row number 3 is showing the 95 of Skagit Speedway points leader, Justin Youngquist, starting in 5th in his first visit to Coos Bay Speedway. And Cody Inderlini from Mount Vernon, Washington, in the 15 car will line up 6th. Row number 4, one of the best out of the state of Oregon, Tyler Thompson from Harrisburg, Oregon. The 7 car will line up 7th. And Allie Johnson, first-time visitor here from Blaine, Washington, will line up 8th in the 4 car. That is how they drew for the top 8. Your rest of the field looks like this. Starting 9th in the 9T from Medford, Oregon. Your points leader in the Interstate Sprint Car Series, that's Camden Robustelli. And outside of him in the 75 car from Roseburg, Oregon, it will be Brian Boswell. Row number 6, starting 11th, it's going to be Carly Holmes from Jacksonville, Oregon in the 22C with Lake Stevens, Washington's Eric Turner starting 12th in the 29 car. Starting 13th from Grants Pass, Oregon, it will be the 5P of RJ McGahee, and starting 14th from Central Point, Oregon in the 10 car, it's Theron Smith. Row number 8 from Cedro Woolley, Washington, starting 15th in the 2 car, it's Corey Swatsina, and outside of him in the 6R from Roseburg, it's Morgan Burks. Row number 9 will be the 1L of Justin Lemon from Cottage Grove, Oregon, and the 17D of Dana Glenn from Ellensburg, Washington, outside of him. And your final row is scheduled to be the 8J of Justin McConville out of Dundee, Oregon, and the 76 of Austin Sauce from Coos Bay, Oregon. And that is your lineup for your main event, night number 1 of Speed Week, for the Interstate Sprint Car Series coming up next. right, race fans, are you ready? Lights are out. We're gonna turn them loose. 25 laps around Coos Speedway. Steven Snotter, Shane Forte, your front row. Batten down the hatches and hold on, folks. Here we go. Oh, and around goes Snotter in 1 and 2. Look out! Cars scrambling. Boswell makes contact, spins it around. Theron Smith, Morgan Burks unable to navigate, and that did not work out. We go yellow. And a heartbreak for Steven Snotter, who was on the pole. Spins it out and takes a few others. We had another car make contact. I could not see who went into the pit area. And heard over the radio, the 15 of Cody Enderlini is in the work area. It looks like suspension issues on the front end of the car, and I saw him get out of the car. Left front issues there. It looks like Cody is out of the car, which indicates that his night might be over. See, his helmet is off, so he is done. He is walking back to his trailer. Tough break for Cody Enderlini here from Mount Vernon, Washington. I believe this is his first time racing here, if I heard his crew right earlier. Theron Smith in the tank car getting a push, but clearly damage on that car. And I got a feeling they're probably pushing that car to the work area. So with multiple cars on the outside getting involved, and this being a complete restart here, they're going to have to completely crisscross pretty much the entire field. So that will shuffle the deck. Theron Smith getting pushed into the pit area. We'll see if he goes to the work area or... And it looks like he's going to be in the work area. Boswell is back underway in the 75 car, as is Snotter in the 12. So a number of cars from further back in the field benefiting from 4 cars up towards the front being involved. Carly Holmes in the 22C, for example, was supposed to start 11th. Now she is outside of row 4. And it looks like your new front row is going to be the 26F of Shane Forte and the 21 of Johnny Burke. So after the crisscrossing Shane Forte is now on the inside of row one. Johnny Burke moves up outside of him. Your new second row will be the 66 of Brett McGuy, and Justin Youngquist will now start fourth after originally starting fifth. Tyler Thompson gets to move up a row. Instead of seventh, he'll start fifth. Allie Johnson will restart in sixth, and your new fourth row is Camden Robustelli in the 19 and Carly Holmes in the 22C. All right, lights are out. We're gonna try this again. We got a new front row. It's Shane Forte and Johnny Burke. Interstate Sprint Car Series main event, take two. Here we go. Three wide for the lead on two. Burke, Forte, and Youngquist. And now turn four, Johnny Burke with the run on the outside. Leads on number one over Forte and Justin Youngquist. And we are officially underway. Brett McGuy fourth over Carly Holmes. Had a great start. She's into the top five already. Johnny Burke leads here. Forte has his hands full of Justin Youngquist. Battle for fourth behind them. McGuy and Holmes. Robustelli and Thompson looking to get into the mix here. Burke not getting away from Forte and Youngquist despite the two of them battling for second right behind him. As we complete lap number 4. And yellow flag is out. Brian Boswell comes to a stop at the exit of turn 2, and it looks like from way up here, suspension issues on that 75 car, perhaps from the earlier incident that maybe they did not detect right away, and his front end giving way, it looks like. Hard to see from up here, but they're also going to pick up the backside of the car, it looks like. Those of you watching at home on Dirt Oval TV, we're way back from the racetrack here at Coos Bay Speedway. Got a fairly large grandstand, and there is a drag strip between the grandstand and the front stretch of the racetrack. They do a lot of drag racing stuff here at Coos Bay Speedway. So we're back a ways from the track. Nice thing is, you almost from here see most of the racetrack without having to turn your head too much. Normally, if you're closer to the racetrack, it's harder to see everything that's going on. You could be looking at one end of the racetrack and miss something happening over on the other end. But here at Coos Bay Speedway, just looking out the window here, I see the entire racetrack north to south, or more east to west. That's the layout here. We're looking south. Front stretch runs generally west, back stretch runs east. For those of you watching at home, we got people watching from all over the West Coast and Arizona. And again, we do this all over tomorrow night up at Cottage Grove Speedway, just south of Eugene. Hope to have you all join us for some Tuesday night action at the Grove. Wednesday, we go to Willamette Speedway in Lebanon, Oregon. And then Thursday, we are at Sunset Speedway in Banks, about 25 minutes, give or take, west of Portland off of Highway 26 on the way to Seaside. For those of you curious about where exactly it is, out on the way to Seaside. The ISCS Sprint Cars and more Dwarf cars wrap up the week Friday and Saturday at Grays Harbor Raceway in Elmo, Washington. And Ben Deathridge, the usual voice of the Interstate Sprint Car Series, should be back with us tomorrow and Wednesday at Atlanta Speedway. Talk about Thursday here. I may be filling in for him again, but meanwhile, I'll be with the Dwarf Cars here for all 4 of the Oregon shows before I have to head up to Washington myself with the Northwest Focus Midget Series Friday at Deming Speedway. That will be on Dirt Oval TV as well. PJ will be going with me to Deming here. Our friend Nathan Prince, if I understand right, will be manning the camera at Elma this weekend. And speaking of the Northwest Focus Midgets here, I'll be with them Saturday night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval in Central Washington. Busy week for a lot of us. We had a Western States Dwarf Car National at Cottage Grove Speedway this weekend. I was over in Rock Springs, Wyoming, calling the ASCS Frontier Region Sprint Car races Friday and Saturday night. 1,000-mile trip yesterday and this morning to get here to Coos Bay to start the speed week with the Dwarf Cars, and turns out do a little bit more sprint car announcing. But we are all happy to be here. Lights are out. We reverted to 3 laps completed, so 22 to go. So a little trouble getting this one going here. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps in. Johnny Burke, your leader, over Shane Forte and Justin Youngquist. We go back to green. Brett McGuy runs 4th, Carly Holmes 5th over Camden Robustelli. Burke still leads it. And battle, 3-way battle for 4th, Robustelli by Holmes, and gets McGuy also. Camden Robustelli, the points leader, is up to 4th. As we complete lap 5. And cars getting together over in 4. Yellow flag comes out just as they kept it going. Officials thought they were going to stop. Turns out they kept it going here, but too late. Yellow flag comes out anyway. With unofficially 5 laps completed. Got a couple more in that time. And it looks like Camden Robustelli is now going to be in the 4th position. Yep. And, well, we'll see if that holds or not here. The field did not all of the field completed lap 5, so we're going to go back to 4 laps completed. So the question is here, where are the cars 4th through 6th going to be? And a tough break for Camden Robustelli, going back to the prior lap here. So that negated his 2 for 1. So he has to go back to the 6th position. Awful timing for that caution to happen for your points leader, Camden Robustelli. We mentioned everything going on this past weekend. The ISCS sprint cars were also racing Saturday down at the Southern Oregon Speedway in Medford. Big sprint car stuff happening elsewhere also. Knoxville Nationals were going on. Kyle Larson. Not much of a shocker to see the 57 sprint car in victory lane these days, but winning a whopping $176,000 in Knoxville, Iowa, and then the next day finishing 3rd on the road course at Indianapolis in NASCAR. All right, so we'll go back to 4 laps completed. Again, tough break for Camden Robustelli. Had everyone completed that 5th lap, that would have counted. But unfortunately, it does not, so he's back to 6th. Johnny Burke, meanwhile, still your leader over Shane Forte and Justin Youngquist as the lights are out. Still a ways to go, 21 laps remaining. We're back underway. A lot of cars hugging the bottom of the racetrack, a few guys going upstairs, but Forte making something bite on the bottom. Oh, that tangle going into turn 1! Youngquist! Oh, car going upside down, it's Curly Holmes! Oh my goodness, what a mess. Johnny Burke, Shane Forte tangled going to turn 1. Justin Youngquist goes to the outside to avoid Carly Holmes, nowhere to go. Wheel hops Youngquist and over she goes. So disaster. Your top 2, Youngquist got through, and that unofficially is going to put him in the lead. And good news, Carly Holmes is okay in that 22C. Tough break for the young lady out of Jacksonville, Oregon. Her older brother, Tanner Holmes, he's won here in the past with this series. And he's done a lot of traveling around the country this year in both 410 and 360 sprint cars, racing with the ASCS National Tour in the 360 ranks. And with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, the series owned by Tony Stewart. In a 410 action, he is here tonight supporting his sister, and unfortunately they got some work to do, that 22 car, if they are to continue on tomorrow night at Cottage Grove. So, with that incident between your at the time top 2, he got through. There was some contact with other cars, but he made it through. Justin Youngquist is now your leader in the 95 car. Now the question is for Youngquist, any damage to that 95 car, because Holmes wheel hopped him pretty good before she went upside down. And we'll see if there's any potential damage to the 95 when he rolls by it later. But Justin Youngquist, he's now out front here on his first visit to Coos Bay Speedway. And a reminder to all the crews, this is not an open red. So you should not be on the racetrack here. That could get your driver in trouble. So if you're not supposed to be out on the racetrack, we suggest you return to the pit area. Yeah, a lot of work to do on the 26 car. See Shane Forte's machine being towed back. Carly Holmes' car is actually rolling. So some work to do on Carly Holmes' car. Don't know if they'll come back out for this one, even though the car is rolling. Special shout out to Jason Fike, Dwarf car racer. He's watching on Dirt Oval TV. Jason Fike sponsoring the Dwarf Cars portion of the Speedweek, Fike's Roofing and Construction. Jason, thanks for your help, buddy. And a little Ric Flair woo for you. And we mentioned Lisa Dines helps run things up at Skagit Speedway, makes things run there, also does all the marketing. She is the co-owner, I believe, of the Justin Youngquist car, and she just messaged me here. It's like she's not sure she can take that much stress. She is watching at home up in Washington. That team won on its first night out, opening night up at Skagit Speedway back in April. And I saw her up in the tower, and she was, let's just say here, she was not looking well. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I can only imagine what she's going through right now watching this, watching her car out front. And while we do have a moment here, just want to, again, congratulate Mike Anderson, Peter Murphy, and Kevin Rudine on buying Skagit Speedway. We kind of knew that was happening a couple of months ago, but they finally officially announced it a couple of weeks ago. Steve Beitler stepping down after running Skagit Speedway for 20 years. He'll finish the season out, and then the new group will take over. And they already made one big announcement for next year. Next year's Dirt Cup. They're bringing back the 410 sprint cars, and it being the 50th anniversary of the inaugural Dirt Cup back in 1972. 50-lap main event, $50,000 to win. That's got to draw some attention next June up at Skagit Speedway. But again, congrats to Mike, Peter, and Kevin on buying Skagit Speedway. But Lisa, do hang in there. We're glad you're watching. And you were a happy camper when Justin won that opening night up at Skagit. Meanwhile, field is rolling here again at Coos Speedway, trying to get this opening main event of Speed Week underway. Drivers, I'm up here in the scoring and announce booth here, and officials just lectured at the drivers a little bit, like, hey, let's calm things down a little bit. We got a long week of racing ahead of us here, but we're not gonna get to these other races here if we keep tearing each other up here. So let's get some green flag laps in, get some racing in. And we just now noticed Justin Youngquist has left the racetrack. Right front tire was down on the 95 car. So that claimed Justin Youngquist as well. So that took out, that whole melee took out the first four cars. Took out Forte, Burke. Burke has returned to the track. Holmes and Youngquist. And now That's going to put Brett McGuy to the lead. And there comes Justin Youngquist. They replaced that tire, and he is back underway. So Brett McGuy and Camden Robustelli were 5th and 6th on that prior restart. They are now 1st and 2nd. Robustelli originally started 9th. Tyler Thompson originally started 7th. He is up to 3rd now. You can see a little bit of bending on the right side wingboard on that 7 car. Lights are out. Brett McGuy, who had to put an engine in just a few hours ago, is now your leader. We're back underway. McGuy holding off. Robustelli continues to lead, gets a little bit of space between himself and Robustelli coming off the turn 4. McGuy hugging the bottom of the racetrack. Robustelli running in the middle. Tyler Thompson looking upstairs. We got cars getting together again over in turn 6. And this is just turning into one of those. Dana Glenn in the 17. And the 6R of Morgan Burks. And all that time, we had another car go to the pit area. So still, they got one more in here, so it's 5 laps down. Still ways to go, but kind of a rough one so far. So ways to go still. It's been one of those so far. All right, and that was Johnny Burke who went to the work area, pushes off, rejoins the field, lights are out. Brett McGuy is your leader. back underway. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps in. McGuy trying to hold off Robustelli, who goes upstairs. Tyler Thompson trying to go upstairs as well. Some damage to that top wing of Tyler Thompson's 7 car. And Robustelli all over Brett McGuy. Brett hugging the very bottom of the racetrack. Robustelli up there right by the loose stuff, trying to find some bike. Gets him a little high that time, but staying right there with McGuy. And we're getting a few green flag laps in. 8 down, 17 to go. Robustelli all over Brett McGuy. McGuy running perfect around the bomb. Robustelli staying committed to the top here. Maybe trying to set him up down the line here. We got ourselves a little run going. 10 down, 15 to go. Tyler Thompson looking about 5 car lengths back. Oh, yeah, Robustelli sets him up, goes to the inside of turn 3. He takes the lead. Slides up. McGuy tries to cross back over. Dead hit the line. Robustelli by a nose. McGuy tries to slide over 1 and 2. Cannot make it stick. Camden Robustelli is your leader. And it's Tyler Thompson in third. Allie Johnson fourth. Austin Sauce is up to 5th here after having problems with his car all evening. All of a sudden he's running in the top 5 in this main event. And Tyler Thompson slides Brett McGuy and takes the 2nd position away. 10 laps to go this time by for Camden Robustelli. But traffic is ahead for your leaders. Over a half straightaway between 1st and 2nd by a pair of slower cars. And for Robustelli gets by Burks without a problem. Now that's Swansina in front of him. As the laps wind down, still a straightaway between 1st and 2nd. 8 laps to go. Robustelli puts Swansina on a lap down. Laps are winding down. Got 13 straight laps in the books here. Let's see if we get the last 7 in. 6 to go this time by for Robustelli. Thompson not really gaining any ground on him. It's almost a straightaway still. Robustelli gets into the loose stuff a bit up there in 3 and 4, but gets a run still. Thompson trying to get by Swansina, finally does, dive bombs him, going to turn 1. Now no cars for the moment between 1st and 2nd, but half a straightaway between them with 4 laps to go now. Couple of slower cars right in front of Robustelli. They're racing for position, it looks like right in front of them. What's Robustelli going to do? 3 to go. Thompson is closing in. Robustelli gets to the inside of Turner. Gets by him at the flag stand. 2 to go. Car between your top 2 now. Oh, we got a car spun over in turn 2. And that will clear the track for Camden Robustelli. With just a couple of laps to go. And we're going to say going back to 3 to go. that was Corey Swatsina who spun out over in turn 2. Push truck there to get him back underway. And that will set us up for a 3-lap shootout. Robustelli looking to pad his points lead in the Interstate Sprint Car Series. And in ISCS competition, lap cars keep their place amongst the leaders. Your first two are going to be out. No cars separating your top two, but Brett McGuy is now going to have a slower car in front of him. The 6R of Morgan Burks and what's left of his nose wing. And they say the lineup is good. Austin Sauce had all kinds of motor issues earlier this evening. All of a sudden, he's in the top 5. He's running 4th in that 76 car. Brett McGuy runs 3rd. And McGuy, again, he literally put a motor in his car about 5:30 or so before cars had to go on the track for wheel packing, but he's running 3rd in this. 3 to go. Can Robustelli hold on? Back underway. And what a restart by Robustelli, who motors away, putting some distance between himself and Tyler Thompson. 2 laps to go. Now McGuy trying to go after Thompson for 2nd. This time out of turn 4, Robustelli will see the white flag. Down the back straightaway for the last time. Thompson is nowhere nearby. Out of turn, no. Caution flag again. Oh my goodness, multiple cars tangled. I see Eric Turner's 29, the 5 of RJ McGahee, the 21 it looks like of Johnny Burke, and the 2 of Corey Swatsina. That's who we see over there, PJ Riso, eagle eyes right in front of us there, giving some hand signals indicating who is who. So this will set up another green-white checkered. And because of so many laps under the caution, we are going to have ourselves a fuel stop. Race teams will be allowed to come onto the track for fuel only. Fuel only. They cannot do anything else to the car, just add some fuel so we can assure ourselves we can get these last 2 laps in here at Coos Bay Speedway. A bizarre main event to start Speed Week for the Interstate Sprint Car Series. And incidentally enough, Camden Robustelli looking for a Speed Week win in a sprint car. He's also a former Speed Week winner in a dwarf car. In fact, winning the inaugural dwarf car Speed Week event a few years back. Back in 2018, ISCS sprint cars and the dwarfs ran together from Coos Bay on North, but the dwarf cars actually ran a Saturday show down at Medford. And Robustelli won that. there right before we kick things off up here, but that counted as a Speed Week event for the Dwarf cars, so he's looking to be a feature winner in both of the classes that run this particular Speed Week every year. So again, just a reminder to all the race teams on the track, fuel only, no adjustments allowed to the car. Drivers supposed to stay in their cars. And again, we invite you all to join us tomorrow night at Cottage Grove Speedway for night number 2. Again, everything will be on Dirt Oval TV this week, all the way through Elma on Saturday. All right, we're just waiting for the remaining crew members and non-push truck personnel to clear the racetrack, and then we will push these cars back off and get them lined back up for a 2-lap green-white checkered shootout. And they've been given the go-ahead to go yellow and push off. Just making sure we get the lineup correct. Your top three, no lap cars amongst them. They are out front by themselves for this green-white checker. They are turning the lights out. They're telling them, get ready. Camden Robustelli looking to hold on and kick off Speed Week with a win. Does Tyler Thompson have anything for him? Here we go, green-white checkered. And again, Robustelli pulls away. He's gonna see the white flag one more time around. McGuy goes to second over Tyler Thompson. Through 3 out of 4. Here's your winner. Camden Robustelli wins it here at Coos Bay. Brett McGuy takes second over Tyler Thompson. Steven Snodder, after being involved in one of the earlier accidents, turns out he's being scored 4th. He came back through. Austin Sauce 5th over Justin McConville. Allie Johnson, Justin Lemon, Justin Youngquist, RJ McKay here, unofficial top 10, and the rest of the field. That will do it for us here at Coos Bay Speedway, night number 1 of Speed Week for the Interstate Sprint Car Series and the Dwarf Cars. We thank those of you watching us at home on Dirt Oval TV. We thank all of you joining us here tonight at Coos Bay Speedway. We hope to see all of you tomorrow night at Cottage Grove Speedway for night number 2. Again, we are at Willamette Speedway on Wednesday, Sunset Speedway on Thursday here over the next few days in Oregon. And that will do. We're going to head downstairs, get some pictures, and do a little celebrating with your top 3. Those of you heading home now, please be safe and courteous to your fellow drivers. If you need a designated driver, please get one. Our preference is you make it to your next event, wherever that may be. Those of you going to the pit area, please be safe. Get a good look at these cars, get an autograph. Some guys have t-shirts for sale. And that'll do it. Thank you, Coos Bay Speedway, for having us tonight. We look forward to coming back again soon. Good night, everyone.